off-season fodder in all of sports is great. Like the speculation, the should they, will they, won't they. NBA is great. The offseason in the NBA is fantastic. I saw Shams with a quote the other day. I don't know if it was on McAfee or First Take or whatever. And he basically said everybody around the league is gearing up for this to be one of the biggest off seasons we've ever seen.
Yeah, I saw that report.
I was like, LeBron was a free agent at one point.
I got to be honest. The guy told me that Aaron Gordon wasn't playing, so I don't know how heavily invested I am in saying that's accurate.
And to tell you where my mind is at, I just thought, so this could be one of the biggest off seasons ever. Are we going to do anything, or are we just going to sit in the corner and watch? Are we going to Jerry Falwell this thing all off season and just watch as everybody else gets to have fun and say, we like our roster?
We'll be the third team involved.
We're going to be third banana?
We'll get the stuff.
I'm going to get that second-round pick. You give me that second-round pick.
Give me the former first-round pick who you didn't play enough that we'll convince ourselves is good enough.
Who's our Mario Hezonja of this offseason? We'll have to wait and find out. But Paul's been rumored, just thrown against the wall. We'll see if it sticks. Somebody asking,
how do you do that if you don't trade Ant? It's ridiculous. It's just a headline that makes a headline, and we fall right into the trap.
I would ask why would you use back-to-back top 7 draft picks on guards and then not trade the other guard on your team? That doesn't make any sense to me either, but I digress. Somebody asking, is it because we're the only Western Conference team that Chris Paul hasn't played for yet? Which,
yeah, I mean, he didn't technically play for the Lakers, but kind of was a Laker until David Stern said stop.
For an hour, he was a Laker.
You're not allowed to be a Laker.
He was a Clipper.
Yep.
He was a Thunder.
Yep.
Spur.
Rocket.
Horn Pelican. Hornets, Pelicans. Hornet.
Yeah.
Who are we missing? Anybody else? Are we missing a Chris Paul team? Off the top of our head?
No Seattle. He didn't play for Minnesota.
No.
No Memphis.
Was there another random stop in there?
No Kings.
No Kangs.
No. Oh, Warrior. Did you add
Warriors? I didn't have Warriors. Thank you. That was
he
one
was a Warrior
forgot.
for a year.
Yeah. Did we say Phoenix? Did we say Suns?
No, we didn't.
We didn't say
That's
Suns.
8 teams.
He went to the finals with the Suns.
Oh, my God.
That might have been his best stop, dude.
Chris Paul, underrated journeyman.
Yeah, he's been around a long time, and he's played for a lot of teams. That's like half of the – he's never played in the East either, right? Am I right on that? Looking up and down, I think it's all Western Conference teams.
No, he never played for the East.
Dude, that's half the Western Conference, so we might as well check that box for him.
Yeah.
Somebody asking, sign Paul, extend – or not asking, saying, sign Paul, extend Ant, draft a point guard. I could see it now. Seems like a good offseason vision.
Would we be –
I wouldn't be shocked at all. No.
Yeah, I was going to say, would we be shocked?
Somebody said bringing in CP3 now. Are they trying to correct the Telfair mistake of 20 years ago?
Yeah. I don't think they would list it as that, but there'd be a lot of that kind of vibe. Yeah.
Come full circle here. Also, and this is kind of a funny note. Now, again, this is from somebody who is known to just throw stuff against the wall and see if it sticks in NBA reporting.
Yes, 7 Western Conference teams.
7, that's remarkable. It could be an 8, depending on where he goes this offseason. But what position did our head coach play?
Point guard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was he a pretty respected and, believed in point guard during his NBA days?
They called him Mr. Big Shot.
Yes, that's right. He is a champion, if I'm not mistaken.
It's a Finals MVP point guard.
He is a Finals MVP, something that Chris Paul does not have. He's never won an NBA Finals.
No, he is not.
Let alone a Finals MVP.
He blew a 2-0 lead.
So just the theory from this listener of, shouldn't Chauncey Billups have some insight about the point guard position that he can impart on Scooter?
Well, what I'm confused about, first of all, okay, can we just start with the premise of him being the mentor?
Run with it, dude. I love this.
It's ridiculous.
It's pretty funny.
The second thing is, if this indeed happened, which I don't think it will, but if they traded Ant and signed Paul, and then they used it as mentor, and then they would do the easy layup thing of, you see SGA? Huh?
SGA played under Chris Paul's tutelage and now is winning MVPs, bitch.
If they did that, I would have a lot of questions of, but I thought you guys were giving Chauncey the credit for Scoot's improved play.
Right. I thought he was getting credit. Let me double check this,
I thought that's
too.
how that was working last year when he started on that little run where he was playing well.
Yeah.
I thought it was like, look at Chauncey. Chauncey has unlocked it. Chauncey challenged him. Chauncey got him to play more aggressively.
He did, yeah.
And then, but then you'd bring in a point guard, and that would be, I don't know how the setup would be, but I would imagine that's the avenue they'd go with that signing.
I do find it funny how Blazer fans, this sums up our mindset. So we put up a poll question on this, on Chris Paul, and are you in, are you out? Are you sick to your stomach? You can go vote on it. And one of the people responded essentially with the SGA line of saying, look what he did for SGA. I love that that's immediately where our minds go as Blazer fans. They played together for 1 year in Oklahoma City.
1 season, yeah.
It was his first year there. He was a Clipper his rookie year.
It was in the bubble, wasn't it?
It was the bubble. It was 2019, 2020 in the bubble. And I think it was, that team was what? Chris Paul, SGA's first year.
A young Lou
Dort was on that team, and basically everybody else is new. And because they played together for 1 year, and he averaged, by the way, 19 points per game in his second year in the NBA, in which he started 70 games for OKC, we are giving Chris Paul that credit in our mind. That sums up our fan base in a nutshell perfectly. That's where we would go with the addition of Chris Paul, is look what he did for SGA.
Well, I just think naturally.
As if SGA wouldn't turn into a star player if he didn't get to play with Chris Paul for a year.
I mean, it's no different than the old aging quarterback, and then they draft the guy, and they're like, well, it's going to be great. He's going to be so good for him in the film room. And then like 10 years later, the young quarterback's like, he barely talked to me. Yeah. We weren't even friends. I think he kind of hated me. I think we just naturally as sports fans tie in the guy's been around a long time. He will be a leader mentor where it's like.
He's been there. He knows.
He'll help him in moments, but he's not like, hey, man, come sleep on the floor of my room. We'll watch some film together. I'll help you out. Hey, man. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think it's quite as that as we like to imagine it is. By the way, Chauncey Billups is one of 6 point guards to win a Finals MVP.
Ooh.
Can you name the other 5?
I'm guessing Magic Johnson. Bing. Bingo. Isaiah Thomas. Bingo. There's 3, so I got three more.
Yep.
3 more point guards to win a Finals MVP. Did Tony Parker get one? Look at that. I'm on NBA Dirt's on it.
The Cleveland one.
Is NBA Dirt back right now?
You got one really obvious one and one you will never guess.
Steph Curry. No, Curry. Is Curry? Oh, he was Finals MVP a couple years ago. That's right.
Got ahead of my ding.
You did there.
You almost talked yourself out of that.
I almost did.
You'll never guess
because I knew Durant got the first couple of them when they were together.
This guy played when Swag was about 36 years old.
Bob Cousy.
Ooh, you're close.
Close.
Not quite.
Give me another point guard from the 1940s.
His name is the opposite. Swag?
Now I feel like I'm doing a Wordle. I'm not going to be up thinking
it's
too
the
much.
New York Times mini crossword.
It is. Now my mind's in a pretzel.
JoJo White.
JoJo White?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, with the Celtics.
Yeah.
Now, was Jerry West considered a point guard, or was he a shooting guard?
I think he was technically a 2 guard, but one of those like he's
It was
Luka.
him and Elgin Baylor, and they were 2 guards. And
and Jerry brought the ball up a lot.
Yeah.
Every time I watched him on
he
Classics,
won
he's
when
got
the Lakers didn't win, but he was so outstanding.
He's the last player to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody
should have been LeBron, but he was the last player to do that.
Yeah, somebody asking Kyrie. Kyrie did not win Finals MVP. That was LeBron.
That was LeBron.
Somebody said they're not signing CP3. Stop this. This is not happening. Look, you're right. It's probably not going to happen.
Yeah. It's just funny to think about.
It's a funny for
what
thing
is
for
the
fodder,
offseason going to be?
Well, I think that's the larger question that I'm asking. Like the Shams thing the other day, I did chuckle at it. It felt a little caught in the moment. This will be the biggest offseason we've ever seen. And you could have all these big trades and like.
That's about Giannis being traded, though, largely.
And that's a big deal, but that's not the biggest trade we've ever. We just saw Luka Doncic get traded in the middle of the night and nobody knew about it. Like, that's a pretty big effing deal.
Right.
Giannis getting traded, we've all at least, like, the tea leaves are there. The crumbs are there on the trail now, and if he gets traded, nobody's shocked by it. I think it's just a larger question of, like, are we going to be active? Is this going to be an offseason where you're getting into the ring? Like, I think your takeaway is probably the perception of a lot of fans of, like, you're going to be the third banana in a lot of these deals. Yeah, sure, we'll take your second-round pick for this journeyman, or sure, we'll give you a future this or that. Or
a flyer on a young player.
A flyer on a young player. Like, that sucks, dude. I don't want that offseason. If there's fireworks all over the place, can we get in the mix a little bit here?
You don't want just the little sparklers?
I don't want spark.
For
the 4th of July, I don't want sparklers.
What are those things called where you throw them and they just make the snap sound?
Poppets or
poppets? Yeah, you don't want to be the poppets.
I don't want the poppets.
Look, I totally get the feeling, but you also have to kind of take them for what they last told us.
They feel good about where the roster's at.
They thought they took a big step this year. They thought that 15-win improvement was the real deal Holyfield. They think they might have a superstar number 1 on their team. They can't answer that yet, which is odd. Legitimately, they bought into their own stuff. Now, I ran through those numbers as soon as the season ended. I ran through all the numbers when they started winning games. And largely what we discovered was they were beating bottom-barrel defensive teams and bottom-barrel offensive teams. So their defense looked good. Their defense improved because they were playing teams that were dog crap on offense. And they were scoring and playing well because they were playing teams that were dog crap on defense. but that was enough of a sample size for them. I don't think they completely run it back, but if you don't find a market for Jeremy in that contract, which why would a team want Jeremy Grant?
Yeah, he's got,
was terrible
3
this
years
year.
left on his deal, I think. But
DeAndre Ayton
Ant and Ayton are on expiring deals.
going into the season.
The season, they're on expiring contracts.
But those aren't always guaranteed going to move. Now, Ant might reach an agreement, a sign-in trade of some sort. Let's wait and see on that. This team loves the players they draft.
Yes, they do.
The DeAndre Ayton piece might not be a viable option until the trade deadline. Let's be realistic here, although maybe he gets traded. So those are question marks. Other than that, man, they might be just completely fine running this back because they legitimately believe what they did at the end was actually real. And so maybe they're that third team. That's how I kind of view it, unless they stun me. And if they do, great. I'd love to be wrong and talk about, man, look at this big swing they took today.
I just want to have some fun. If I see fireworks this offseason, I want to be a part of it. We'll see if they are. I'm with you. I have the same opinion on the offseason and how it's going to go. That's why the Paul stuff's fun. Look, it's that offseason. We're in the offseason. I know the NBA is still going, so it's not officially the offseason for the league. It's our offseason.
I can't help but watch these teams, though, whether they're Oklahoma City or a team that didn't make it to the conference finals. I just can't help but watch these teams, and I always think about their roster-building process. Cleveland might be sitting in a spot, as crazy as this sounds out loud, Cleveland might be sitting in a spot where they're collectively, the majority's like, we need to make a big move. And Portland won 36 games, is split on, do you make a big move? I don't know if it's like a true 50-50, but there's legitimate people that think that what they did at the end of the year is enough to make the jump to 44 wins next year.
That they can take that level of
Take that leap and continue to build that way versus make a trade that moves your needle a little more. And that's just fascinating mindset to me. One team had 64 wins, the other had 36. The 64 wants to make the move. The 36 largely might run it back.
Yeah.
Just interesting.
It's an interesting mindset to have going into the offseason.